Hello. So please let me know if there is any sound in the microphone. Hopefully it's working soon. I'm getting a bit annoyed by this microphone thing. Really struggling to find out what to do, but hopefully the sound is working at the moment. So thanks for joining in. This is my early Game Week 12 Q&A. I have a couple of issues with my team at the moment. I have both Kudus and Pakta. So Pakta, he will definitely miss Game Week 12. I have Kudus as well. I don't really want Kudus going forward. He is the most valuable assets out of the two, so he will probably be the player leaving my team. FPL FOMO, sound is okay. Thanks. Not really sure what happened. It's been a while since I had those kind of technical issues, but good to know that the sound is back. FPL FOMO, have you made any early transfers ahead of Game Week 12? I'm definitely going to wait until all the national games are done. I only have one free transfer, 0.3 in the bank. I'm not really satisfied with my team at the moment, so I'm definitely going to use my transfer. I might actually take my second hit of the season ahead of Game Week 12 as well. I have 3 free transfers, not used any yet, so that's a good position to be in. I really wish I had more free transfers. So what I'm looking at the moment is I can potentially just do Pakita, downgrade him to someone like Potts or Josh King, the Fulham midfielder. Not really sure this wouldn't really help me ahead of Game Week 12, so Kudus out is most probably what I'm going to do. So Kudus to someone like Soboslai is a possibility. My only worry with Soboslai is the fact that he is on 4 yellow cards at the moment, so would be really annoying if he picked up a yellow card in Game Week 12 and missed Game Week 13. So kudos to Enzo Fernandez. I know that he has actually blanked in the last couple of game weeks. Really frustrating for the Enzo Fernandez owners, but his stats is really good from the last couple of game weeks. I think that he has been a bit unlucky. So what I'm leaning towards at the moment is actually to sell Kudus and bring in Enzo Fernandez. So if I decide to bring in Enzo Fernandez, I will use my free hit chip in Game Week 13 to avoid the Chelsea against Arsenal game. If I do something like Kudus to Rodgers, I will use my free hit in Game Week 15. So my transfer this game week will decide which game week I will use my free hits. It doesn't really look like we will have any double game weeks ahead of game week before Christmas. Crystal Palace will most probably just play. It will be 4 games in 1 week for Crystal Palace, but this looks most likely at the moment. So even though Man City and Erling Haaland have a tough fixture in Game Week 12 playing away at the St. James's Park against Newcastle, Haaland, he is still the bookie's favorite for anytime goal scorer. I was a bit surprised to see this, to be honest. He is on 52%. Mo Salah is really close for Liverpool's home game against Nottingham Forest, 50%, and the same for Gyökeres and Arsenal's home game against Spurs. So of course Erling Haaland, he will always be really popular when we consider the captaincy, but I think game week 12 is a really good game week to go against Erling Haaland. I did this in game week 11. Took a punt on Mateta. He blanked 2 points, but I'm actually really tempted to give Mateta another go. I like the fixture playing against Wolves in game week 12, so at the moment, Mateta, he is my captain. So in the captain poll, a United midfielder, it's probably Mbumo or Bruno Fernandes and Saka with 50% as well. 4 votes, so 2 votes for Saka, 2 votes for a United midfielder. No votes for Erling Haaland, kind of a surprise. I think that he most definitely will be the most captain player in game week 12 as well. Even though, as mentioned, the fixture is tough, playing away against Newcastle. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X, post a picture under my latest post, and I'll get your team up on the screen. Sundry Value 6 high. I have 3 free transfers, same as FPL FOMO. I know it's early, but any suggestions? It would be a bit easier to make a couple of suggestions if I knew which players you were considering to sell, of course, but there are a lot of good options going forward. I really like Liverpool assets in the next couple. They have a fixture swing. They had a tough game in game week 11, but I think in the next 6 game weeks, something like that, Liverpool, they have really good fixtures. So it kind of depends on who you're selling. But I really like Van Dijk at the moment. His price has gone down to 5.9. I think that he will pick up a lot of points going forward. We know that Alisson Becker, he will probably be back for game week 12. Paqueta to Rice. I think that's decent transfer. At least it's an upgrade. Paqueta, he will not play in game week 12. He has picked up 5 yellow cards already, so he is suspended. So definitely if you're going to play, if you can't bench Paqueta for game week 12, he is probably a sell. It's not that West Ham have been really reliable recently, so Paqueta to Rice is a really good transfer. At least if you have an open Arsenal spot, I think that at least a lot of teams have triple up on Arsenal already. I've seen a lot of triple ups on the Arsenal defense with Raya, Timber, Gabriel. A lot of teams have Saka as well. So if you have an open Arsenal spot, I think that Paqueta to Rice is decent. I could do something similar, sell Paqueta, bring in Rice, but let's have a look. Paqueta is priced at 5.9, so I would have to sell Kudus. So Kudus, he will be gone ahead of game week 12 for my team. I'm really considering to bring in Enzo Fernandez at the moment. It could be Soboslai, could be Rice. So I was playing around with my team earlier today, and I can do something like Kudus and Paqueta to King, and I think it was up to 8.5. So I can't afford Bruno Fernandes, but Cunha could be an option. Man United, they have really good fixtures. They have looked good going forward recently as well. And Mbumo, he has done really well. So I'm glad to have Mbumo in my team. Of course, Afghan, he will be gone, but considering that we will get 5 free transfers, I still think that Mbumo is a decent buy. We'll make another video about Afghan and which players we should sell, when we should sell them, and for how long they will be out. My next video will be about the remaining chips. So if you still have your free hit, if you still have your wildcard or triple captain, which game weeks should we consider to play them? I've already played my triple captain, played it on Erling Haaland. I think it was game week 5. He did well. So triple captain was a success for me this season. I played my bench boost as well in game week 10. Bit annoying because in game week I played my bench boost in game week 9. I'm sorry, bit annoying since my bench did really well in game week 11. In game week 10, I actually benched 40 points in game week 10. So that was a bit annoying. It was kind of a 50-50 call between bench boosting in game week 9 or game week 10. Went for game week 9 because all of my players were fit. I knew that if I waited one more week, I could pick up some injuries, suspensions, stuff like that. So that was my reasoning for playing the bench boost in game week 9. I got 14 points. If I waited one more game week, I would have had 40. So kind of annoying, but it is what it is. But this video will be about the remaining game weeks up until game week 19 and which game weeks we should consider to use our chips. So my transfer this game week, I started this stream by saying that my transfer this game week will decide when I will use my free hits. If I bring in Enzo Fernandez, I will most probably play my free hit in game week 13 to avoid Chelsea against Arsenal. If I bring in Rodgers, I will play my free hit in game week 15. There are a lot of good fixtures for some of the most popular FPL assets in game week 15. Aston Villa, they are playing against Arsenal. I still have the free chip, not sure if it will outscore my current team. No good week to use it. So if you don't really need your free hit team, I think you should look ahead and figure out which game weeks are your players playing against each other. So especially in game week 13, I think this will be a really popular week for the free hit, especially if you have a couple of Chelsea assets. I know that most FPL managers at least have 2 Arsenal assets, and by playing your free hit in game week 13, you will avoid having them play against each other. So especially if I bring in Enzo Fernandez, I will definitely play my free hit in game week 13. So I have Sanchez, I will have Enzo Fernandez and Joao Pedro up front. I don't really want them to play against my double Arsenal defense. So free hit in game week 13, I think this is a good idea. Let's have a look at game week 15 as well. So this is game week 13, 14, 15. So this is the fixtures. These are the fixtures in game week 15. Aston Villa against Arsenal. So Aston Villa, they have actually looked good recently. So avoiding this fixture might be a good idea. Let's get all of those fixtures in. There we go, game week 15. Also, another option, which I will definitely get him this week or upcoming fixtures, is Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah, decent option. He has actually impressed me when we consider his FPL output this season. My only worry with Bruno Guimaraes is that he is really prone to pick up yellow cards, but on some set pieces as well, he can pick up defensive contribution points, and at that price, it's probably worth it. But you will most probably never captain Bruno Guimaraes. But I think that he is a decent differential. But I was talking about game week 15. I think this is a good game week for the free hit. So it's like this game week is before we head into the most busy Christmas schedule, and you can't avoid having Aston Villa, Arsenal play against each other. Bournemouth, they are playing against Chelsea. So there are a lot of FPL teams with a couple of Bournemouth assets, Semenyo, Senesi, and a lot of managers have Chelsea assets as well. So you will avoid them play against each other in game week 15. Everton, they have a decent game playing at home against Nottingham Forest. So probably someone like Keane could be an option on a game week 15 free hit. Man City, probably a couple of Man City assets at home against Sunderland. Newcastle at home against Burnley. So probably someone like Bruno Guimaraes in game week 15 on a free hit could be an option. Spurs at home against Brentford. Liverpool away against Leeds. West Ham Brighton. Probably someone like Welbeck for this fixture. Fulham, Crystal Palace, and you can potentially at least double up on Man United by having Mbumo and Bruno Fernandes playing against West Ham. So I think game week 15 is a decent week for the free hit. I will most probably play my free hit in game week 13 to avoid the Chelsea against Arsenal fixture. This is the last fixture of the game week as well, so hopefully my players will do well. Let's have a look. Brentford, I've actually had a look at a game week 13 free hit team already, and I think that at least having Thiago up front, probably Schade in midfield as well. Really good fixture at home against Burnley. Man City triple up at home against Leeds. Sunderland, Bournemouth. I'm not really sure if I will pick any Bournemouth players. Sunderland, they have done really well at home, so I don't really see this as an easy fixture for Bournemouth. But Spurs at home against Fulham could be decent. I will avoid having Crystal Palace and Man United players, but Aston Villa, really, really good fixture. So in my game week 13 free hit team, I have at least 2 Aston Villa players at the moment. And what I looked at earlier today was to have Rodgers and someone like Matty Cash in defense. Liverpool triple up. I will most probably have Mo Salah on a game week 13 free hit. And as mentioned, one of the reasons why I will play my free hit this game week is to avoid the Chelsea against the Arsenal fixture. So there are a lot of arguments to play the free hit chip in game week 13 or potentially in game week 15. So Sandri talking about Bruno Guimaraes as an option. So if you want more Newcastle players, I think that Lewis Hall at some point will become a really, really good FPL option. We saw this last season, but he got injured. He has actually picked up a couple of other injuries after the end of last season as well. So he has been really, really unlucky, but he's gotten some minutes recently. And I think that it will only be a matter of time before Lewis Hall starts games for Newcastle. And when he does, I think that we will start to consider Lewis Hall as a good FPL option once again. So Lewis Hall, Bruno Guimaraes, good call. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X, post a picture of your team under this post. So there are actually a couple of interesting games starting at the moment. Germany. Let's have a quick look. Voltmada is starting up front. Wirtz is in the starting 11 as well. Other than this, no players involved from FPL, but for the Netherlands, there have actually been a couple of injuries already in this team. Poland, they have actually made a transfer already. This game has been on for 15 minutes, but for FPL, so Netherlands, they have actually a lot of FPL players involved. They have the goalkeeper for Bruggen, he is starting. They have Timber, Van Dijk, Mickey van de Ven, Gravenberch, Justin Kluivert, and Cody Gakpo is starting as well for the Netherlands. So a lot of FPL players involved in this fixture. Hopefully there will be no more injuries in this game. So I have a couple of players that's close to price rise this evening. The one that's most likely is Gabriel. He was close yesterday as well, so Gabriel, he can potentially rise in price. Munoz and Granit Xhaka could potentially rise in price as well. Players like Esteve, Elanga, Johnson. So there are not many high-owned players that looks likely to drop in price tonight, but definitely after the international games are done, I think there will be a lot of transfer activity. So far, close to 300,000 managers have sold Kudus. I will most probably sell him as well. Voltmada, 171,000 transfers out. The most popular player so far ahead of GW12 is Mbumo, 278,000 transfers in for the player that's leaving for AFCON soon. FPL FOMO sent my team on Twitter. Let's have a look. So FPL FOMO thinking about doing Gordon to Mbumo and Gyökeres to Thiago. So in goal we have Raya playing against Arsenal. No other Arsenal defenders. So Munoz, Tarkovsky, Shaloba, Lacroix, and Senesi. Semenos in, Bruno Fernandes, Saka captain, and Jai up front, Mateta. Gordon to Mbumo. I like this move. I talked about Mbumo. He will leave for AFCON, but we will get 5 transfers before the AFCON players leave. So I definitely still think that Mbumo is a decent transfer in. Jared Bowen, with this team, I would potentially go for a 4-4-2, to be honest, and start Jared Bowen instead of Senesi. You will have Tarkovsky play against Bruno Fernandes and Mbumo as well. You will have a lot of players in that fixture. NGI, Tarkovsky against Bruno Fernandes and Mbumo. Of course, having your attacking players, midfielders and forwards play against each other is not that big of a deal, but having your midfielders and forwards play against your defenders, I normally try to avoid this. But a nice double up on the Crystal Palace defense. They have a lovely fixture playing against Wolves. Munoz, Lacroix. You can wish for some attacking returns as well. With 3 free transfers, I would definitely make a couple of transfers with this team, to be honest. I would do something with Gordon. And I would bench both Tarkovsky and Senesi. So Gordon in, Senesi to the bench, and I think Gordon to Mbumo is a decent option, and then I would bench Tarkovsky and play Jared Bowen. I'd likely bench Tarkovsky, yeah. So Tarkovsky to the bench, Jared Bowen in, Gordon to Mbumo, and of course start Mbumo and bench Senesi. So by making this transfer, you will have 3 free transfers heading into game week 13 as well. Gyökeres can potentially be back soon. I haven't really seen any news about Gyökeres. So Sweden, let's have a look. Let's see. Sweden. So Sweden, they will play tomorrow, but probably without Gyökeres. My only worry with seeing Gyökeres on the bench is that it's a lot of funds on this bench at the moment. Jared Bowen, Anthony Gordon, Gyökeres. I would feel a lot better by having Tarkovsky and Senesi on the bench. Bowen in the starting 11. And Anthony Gordon, he can be sold. I'm really hoping that Chelsea can keep a clean sheet against Burnley. I will have my goalkeeper Sanchez playing in this game as well. I will have a triple up on Crystal Palace with Munoz, Sar, and Mateta. I'm actually considering to have Mateta as my captain in game week 12. Let's put some stats up on the screen. Just give me a minute. So, Mateta, captain in game week 12. I'm really considering to go against Erling Haaland once again, but Wolves, they have terrible defensive stats. They have not kept any clean sheets in the last 4 game weeks, conceded 11 goals, which is worth in the league, 12 big chances, 23 shots on target, and they have an expected goals conceded of 6.77, which is 18th in the league. So Wolves definitely a team to target going forward. And it's not like Wolves all of a sudden have become a poor defensive side. It's been like this since the start of the season. So I really think that Wolves will struggle against Crystal Palace. And Mateta nailed on 90 minutes, and he is on penalty. So I'm really tempted to go against Erling Haaland once again. Let's take a look at the captain poll. It's really close. It's 29% for Haaland, 29 for Saka, 29 for a United midfielder as well. So at the moment, it's actually a tie between 3 options: Haaland, Saka, and a Man United midfielder. Tarkovsky, he has been a really frustrating asset so far this season. I haven't owned Tarkovsky, but you would think that Tarkovsky would be the main target for the set pieces, but he's actually, when we take a look at the set pieces for Everton so far this season, he's usually running at the first post, trying like make space for their other players. So Tarkovsky, he is a really good player at set pieces, but he's not the main threat for Everton at the moment. I wish I had bought Keane rather than Tarkovsky. He looks a bit more threatening, to be honest. And we saw this in game week 11 as well. Was it 15 points for Keane in game week 11? Big differential as well. Let's see. So Will Keane, he has actually 2 double-digit goals so far this season. In game week 6 against West Ham, 11 points, and in game week 11 against Fulham, 15 points for Will Keane. Michael Keane, sorry. Everton, they have actually only kept 3 clean sheets in game week 2 against Brighton, game week 4 against Aston Villa, and as mentioned in game week 11 against Fulham. He scored a goal in that game as well, so 15 points for Keane. Not Will Keane, but Michael Keane. My plan is to sell Kyrgios. I will have 6.8 for a replacement. I can bring in Soboslai, but at the moment it will, at least if we get the confirmation that Enzo Fernandez definitely is fit, I will most probably bring in Enzo Fernandez, but Soboslai is really tempting as well. Let's see. He's priced at 6.6, and this will give me 0.2 in the bank. So I think this is a decent transfer as well. Selling Kyrgios definitely makes sense at the moment. So Soboslai, good fixture, playing at home against Nottingham Forest. However, I will wait with my transfers. I'm not in a rush, and I will wait until the international games are done. So there are a couple of games being played at the moment. Netherlands are playing. They have actually 6 players from the Premier League starting. Germany is playing as well. And they have Voltmade and Wirtz in their starting 11. No goals in those games so far. Let's see. For Netherlands, we have Verbruggen, Timber, Van Dijk, Van de Ven, Gravenberch, Justin Kluivert, Malen, and Gakpo. So it's actually 8 players from the Premier League starting for Netherlands in this game. For Germany, it's only 2 players from the Premier League, Voltmade and Wirtz. The most transferred in player so far is Mbumo. FPL FOMO, he is considering to bring in Mbumo as well. It totally makes sense. Really good value. It's looked really threatening for Man United in the last couple of game weeks. 15 points in game week 10, 7 points in game week 11. I watched the Man United game in game week 11. I was really hoping that he could get another brace, but 7 points. I think this is decent. Thiago, the Brentford forward, of course, he is really popular, and he is the second most transferred player ahead of game week 12. Kyrgios, Voltmade, Gyökeres, the most transferred out. There have actually been a lot of transfer activity so far ahead of game week 12, especially considering that it's an international break. Mateta is popular as well, 131 transfers in, despite the fact that he actually blanked in game week 11. I talked about Mateta a couple of times so far during this stream. He's my captain at the moment. I think it's a good game week to go against Erling Haaland. Mateta, really good fixture for Mateta and Crystal Palace. So leaning towards Mateta at the moment. My transfer plan this game week is to get rid of Kyrgios. This is why he's currently in my starting 11. So Paqueta only priced at 5.9. I could potentially sell Paqueta as well, but I wouldn't have that much for a replacement. Paqueta is only priced at 5.9. I only have 0.3 in the bank, so my replacement would have to be priced at 6.2 or less. So not that many good options. So Kyrgios, he will definitely be the one I sell. It's a bit easier to just bench Paqueta. I can play him in game week 13. Isaac Mags rate my team. Raya in goal, Dubravka on the bench, Anderson, Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Gudmundsson, Senesi, and in midfield Sar and Jai, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Enzo, Alan, Mateta, and Thiago. Who am I missing? I want to get Saka, but no easy route to get him. So my first thought when having a quick look at this team is that it's a really, really strong squad. It looks like a bench boost team, to be honest. In defense, Anderson, Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Gudmundsson, and Senesi. So I think that in most game weeks you would have Gudmundsson on the bench, but you will have a benching headache considering you have 5 strong midfielders and 3 good forwards as well. How to get Saka into this team? I would keep Bruno Fernandes, decent fixtures for Man United going forward, so it would probably be Semenyo. Sar and Jai, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Enzo, Alan, Mateta, and Thiago. So I wouldn't necessarily do a transfer up front with his team. Holland, he's fine. Mateta is fine. Thiago, good option as well. Enzo Fernandes, I would keep him. He's actually one of my potential transfers in ahead of game week 12. Semenyo. Probably Semenyo out. Kind of depends on how much you have in the bank at the moment, Isaac. Tarkovsky can potentially be downgraded, while Semenyo potentially can be upgraded to Saka. Best replacement for Grealish from Patrick O'Coley. Thanks for joining in. I think at that price point, probably someone like Minte, the Brighton midfielder. He has looked really, really good recently. Been a bit unlucky. He picked up 9 points in game week. Was it game week 10 or 11? Can't really remember, but he looks really, really threatening when Brighton are going forward. So let's have a look at his ownership as well. Priced at 6 million, only selected by 4.8% of the managers. So in game week 12, they play at home against Brentford, then they have Forest away, home game against Aston Villa, home game against West Ham in game week 15. So decent fixtures for Brighton. I mean, he has looked good. It was in game week 10 in the win against Leeds where he picked up 9 points. So a brace of assists for Minte in game week 10. So it kind of depends how much you have in the bank, really. I don't have Sar or Enzo. Minte really the best. I think if you can get Sar or Enzo, I think they are better options. So it kind of depends on how much you have in the bank. But Minte, he's only priced at 6 million. So let's have a look at Grealish 6.8. I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't really know that Grealish was priced at 6.8. I thought that he was only priced at around 6 million, but of course he started this season as a Man City player, so 6.8 Grealish. I definitely think that Enzo Fernandez is a better option compared to Minte. You can potentially have Sar as well. NGI, there are a lot of good options at that price point. Someone like Soboslai is interesting as well. The only worry with Soboslai is that he is on 4 yellow cards. So one more yellow card for Soboslai and he will get a 1 match suspension. But Grealish at 6.8, so you can potentially bring in someone priced at 7.3. Got him at 6.6. So I think that especially if you still have your free hit left, I think that transfer this game week, you're in the same position as me. So I'm in a position where I've decided to sell Kudus, and my transfer this game week will decide my free hit chip. So if I go for Enzo Fernandez, I will most probably play my free hit in game week 13. So in game week 13, Chelsea and Arsenal, they play against each other. So if I go for Enzo Fernandez, I will use my free hit in game week 13 to avoid having my triple Chelsea play against Arsenal. I can go for someone, and you can as well go for someone like Rodgers. Really, really good fixtures for Aston Villa coming up. He has looked good recently, has been a bit unlucky not to pick up even more FPL points. Only selected by 5% of the managers, so Rodgers, he is an option as well. So at that price point, Grealish out, you can potentially go for Sar, Enzo Fernandez, Soboslai, and I think that actually, even though he hasn't really delivered so far this season, Rodgers is an option as well. He looked really good in game week 11, as mentioned, was a bit unlucky not to get more attacking returns in that fixture. So my point is that if you bring in Enzo Fernandez, a game week 13 free hit makes sense. If you go for someone like Rodgers, I will wait and use my free hit in game week 15. In game week 15, there are a lot of teams with good fixtures, but Arsenal, they play against Aston Villa. So if you go for Rodgers, game week 15 free hit makes sense. Trust Sunderland, bring in Xhaka. He is good in attack as well as Defcon. He's on some set pieces as well, so I think that Xhaka is actually a really good option. It's close to a price rise as well, as you can see in the graphics in the right hand corner. So in preseason, when Granit Xhaka joined Sunderland, we knew that what type of player he was, that he would pick up defensive contributions, and he has delivered. He has gotten some attacking returns as well. So at that price, he has been a really, really good FPL asset so far this season. Close to a price rise, as mentioned. So yeah, my only worry with Granit Xhaka is the fact that he is a player that picks up a lot of yellow cards, and like with Szoboszlai, I talked about this a couple of times. Szoboszlai, he has 4 yellow cards. I think that Xhaka has 3. When they get their 5th yellow card, they will have to serve a 1-match ban. Aishant Rux, hi mates, how are we doing? All good. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining in. Doing an early Q&A this evening. I know it's 8 days left until the deadline, but thought it was a decent time to do an early Q&A. I have a couple of decisions to make ahead of game week 12. Kudus, he will most probably be sold. I'm kind of in the same position as Patrick Okoli. He's selling Grealish. I will sell Kudus. I'm really tempted by Enzo Fernandez. And if I bring in another Chelsea asset, I will most probably play my free hit in game week 13 to avoid Chelsea against Arsenal. Please check your posts. Thanks for reminding me. I'm always forgetting to check, telling people to post your team under my latest post, but forgetting to check the actual posts. So this was FPL FOMO's team. So with this team, FPL FOMO considering to sell Anthony Gordon to bring in Mbeumo. I think this is a really good transfer at the moment. Even though Mbeumo is going to AFCON, I think that bringing in Mbeumo makes sense. So with this team, Jared Bowen, I would start Jared Bowen. I would bench Senesi instead. If Gordon becomes Mbeumo, I would definitely bench Tarkowski. Let's see if we have any context. Got lucky with Guehi getting injured and Ballard coming in from the bench. So this, wow, let's see. So Guehi, 0 points. Auto sub Ballard, 10 points. Nice, 37 points. Game week rank, 7 million. A bit lucky with Ballard, of course, coming in. Triple Arsenal defense, not good in game week 11, of course. I had Gabriel and Timber myself. Semenyo, unlucky, missing a penalty. And up front, João Pedro, the only one really delivering. You had Mateta captain as well. A bit annoying that he didn't deliver in game week 11. I talked about this a couple of times. I still think that game week 12 is another good opportunity to go against Erling Haaland with the captaincy. Ballard coming in. Yeah, your game week would have been actually pretty bad, to be honest, if where he started this fixture, of course he would have picked up a clean sheet, but the extra points getting Ballard into your team was good. Well done having Ballard first on the bench, to be honest. It was a tough fixture playing against Arsenal. But really good feeling, I assume. Storm, hey mate, what do you think of bringing in Mbumo, Thiago and Michele for Enzo Fernandez, Joe Pedro and Senesi? Taking a -4. All this to bring in Mbumo. I like bringing in Mbumo, but selling Enzo Fernandez, I'm not really sure if this is a good idea at the moment. I actually consider to bring in Enzo Fernandez ahead of game week 12. I know that he has blanked in the last couple of game weeks, but he has looked really good. His stats, attacking stats, has been good as well. He's been really unlucky. He has picked up man of the match in game week 11, so selling Enzo Fernandez, he is the penalty taker, first choice penalty taker for Chelsea at the moment with Cole Palmer injured. So selling Enzo Fernandez, selling Joe Pedro. Not sure if this is worth a -4, to be honest. Hey man, Wish Malhotra, thanks for joining in. Sending my team, lovely. I'll check it in a minute. I've already transferred in Soboslai for Gakpo, with Gakpo's minutes looking in danger. So Gakpo, he is actually playing at the moment for the Netherlands, starting on the left wing for them. I checked the Netherlands team playing this evening. They actually have 8 players from the Premier League starting. To be honest, I didn't knew I had Ballard on my first bench. He was just default. Got really lucky. I think that with this team, it didn't really make sense having Ballard first on the bench, to be honest. I would have him most probably last on my bench. Gakpo would most probably be my first bench with this team. So the team will probably look good ahead of game week 12. Of course, the Arsenal triple defense will play against Spurs. You're really relying on Arsenal to keep a clean sheet. But Joe Pedro, I would definitely keep him. Enzo Fernandez, is he a sell? I'm actually, as mentioned, considering to bring Enzo Fernandez in. So selling Joe Pedro and Enzo Fernandez for a -4 only to bring in Mbumo. I'm not sure if this is a good idea, to be honest. Do you think Senesi is a good guy to sell? I think Senesi, he is a bit overhyped. So, of course, he has done well considering defensive contributions. He's gotten a lot of attention because of his ability to pick up defensive contribution points. But Bournemouth, they haven't really looked good defensively, so not picked up that many clean sheets. So I think that considering that his price has gone up, I think that he is potentially a sell at the moment. Is this the best game week to sell Senesi playing at home against West Ham? I'm not really sure if it's the best game week to get rid of him. We don't have any West Ham attackers, so if we had Jared Bowen, I would at least bench Senesi, potentially sell him as well, but selling Gakpo, selling Enzo Fernandez, selling Joao Pedro. Not really sure. Would probably consider something like Semenyo to Mbumo next game week instead. So just saving a transfer potentially ahead of game week 12 and then making the Mbumo transfer ahead of game week 13. Oops. There we go. So this is Wish Malhotra's team. Let's see. There we go. So let's see. Storm, by the way, Guehi is supposed to play in game week 12, right? I haven't seen any confirmed quotes about Guehi definitely starting in game week 12. He might actually be out for a bit longer, but is there any confirmed date about Guehi's return from injury? Let me know in the chat, but at least I can't really remember reading anything about Guehi definitely returning for game week 12, so can't confirm this. If you've seen anything about Guehi's return, let us know in the chat. But this is Wish Malhotra's team. Let's see. Raya and Dubravka, Gabriel, James, Richard, Senesi, and Mukiele. Semenios are Bruno Fernandes, Gravenberch, and up front Holland, Mateta, and Thiago. I like that Thiago. Forward spots only priced at 6.2. I think it's 6.3, so you probably got him before his price rise. But really solid team. I would, of course, start Raya, Gabriel, Reece James, and probably Richards as well. So on the bench, Senesi first bench, Mukiele, and then Josh King. I think this team is good to go. Can potentially just save a transfer heading into game week 12. You have Liverpool midfielder, not my favorite Liverpool midfielder, but Gravenberch, really good price, can pick up defensive contributions, and of course, if you're lucky, he can contribute with attacking returns as well. I'm actually considering to bring in Szoboszlai ahead of game week 12. His on set pieces can pick up defensive contributions. So when we consider Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, it's like comparing Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez and how Chelsea lined up in game week 11. So Caicedo, he is the holding midfielder, while Enzo Fernandez has the license to roam forward. I think the same is with Liverpool. Gravenberch, he's more of a defensive midfielder, while Szoboszlai is joining the attack. And of course, a bonus with Szoboszlai is the fact that he is on some set pieces for Liverpool. The main reason why I'm reluctant to bring in Szoboszlai at the moment is the fact that he is on 4 yellow cards. So let's see if we can find any information about Guehi. So no changes. I don't think there are necessary to make any changes with this team. You have a strong starting 11. You will have decent bench cover with Senesi first on your bench as well. So at the moment, I think it would be more valuable to just save a transfer, to be honest. You don't have many players play against each other, so double Arsenal defense, Raya and Gabriel against Spurs. Of course, Arsenal, they can keep a clean sheet against Spurs. They are actually the bookie's favorite to keep a clean sheet, as you can see in the graphic on the right hand side as well. 48% chance of an Arsenal clean sheet. So, of course, having a double Arsenal defense is decent, especially seeing that you have no attackers from Spurs. James, a really good fixture playing against Burnley, and the same goes for Richards in midfield. Semenyo at home against Wolves. He can potentially be a captain punt as well. Semenyo, of course, he missed a penalty in game week 11, but if he scored that penalty, it would have been a different story. So Sar and Mateta, I have that double Crystal Palace attack myself. Really satisfied with the fixture for Crystal Palace in game week 12. Bruno Fernandes at home against Everton, decent fixture. And you have Gravenberch. Thiago, Mateta, Haaland up front. I think this team is good to go, to be honest. So unless there are any injuries during the international break, I think you can potentially save a transfer ahead of game week 12. Wish Malhotra, solid team, no transfers needed. I think game week 12, I talked about this a couple of times already. I think game week 12 is a good game week to go against Erling Haaland and Mateta. He would be my preferred option. I know he blanked in game week 11, but let's take a look at the stats for Wolves. So in game week 12, Crystal Palace and Mateta playing against Wolves. They haven't kept any clean sheets. They have conceded 11 goals, which is worst in the league. 12 big chances, 23 shots on target conceded, and they have an expected goal of 6.77. So I think this is a really good fixture for Crystal Palace and Mateta. He will play close to 90 minutes. He is on penalties for Crystal Palace, so hopefully he will deliver in game week 12. At least at the moment, Mateta is my captain. In the captain poll, let's have a quick look. Erling Haaland is the favorite, 40%, 27 Saka, United mid, and other 13%. So I haven't really seen that much talk about Mateta captaincy. I think this is most probably because of the blank in game week 11, but as mentioned, hopefully Mateta can do well in game week 12. Man City playing away against Newcastle at the St. James's Park. I think it's a good game week to go against Erling Haaland this game week. So no goals in the Germany game against Luxembourg. It's 0-0. Poland is actually 1-0 up against the Netherlands. One Premier League player playing for Poland at the moment. It's Matty Cash, keeping a clean sheet in the first 45 minutes against Netherlands. So reading Matty Cash's name, this reminds me that I started working on some graphics for a game week 13 free hit video. So if I decide to bring in Enzo Fernandez this game week, I will most probably use my free hit in game week 13. This is mostly because in game week 13 Chelsea, they will play against Arsenal. So let's see. So this is my team at the moment. Kudus, he will most probably leave. Enzo Fernandez is my favorite transfer in at the moment. There have actually been a couple mentioning in the chat that they considering to sell Enzo Fernandez. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. So even though Enzo Fernandez has blanked, he has looked good. He was the man of the match in game week 11, and he has really big expected goal involvement as well. He is the first choice penalty taker for Chelsea, now with Cole Palmer injured. So Enzo Fernandez, I think he's a keep at the moment. And as mentioned, I'm actually considering to transfer him in. So if I bring in Enzo Fernandez, I will play my free hit in game week 13. And if I bring in Rodgers, I will play my free hit in game week 15. It doesn't really look like we will get a double game week before game week 19. So in theory, Crystal Palace was close for them to get a double game week in game week 16. The game week 17 fixture was rumored to be postponed, but at the moment everything is pointing towards that this fixture will go ahead as planned. So no double game week before Christmas. So this is an early Q&A. I usually do those Q&As the night before the deadline. So on Friday nights, I usually do those Q&As, and I usually do deadline streams as well. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel. I have made a couple of videos ahead of game week 12 as well, a wildcard and free hit video and a team selection video where I take a look at the watch list, my transfer plans, and captain selection as well. So if you're interested, go check those videos out. It will be really, really helpful for the channel to get the watch time up as well. So if you're interested, please consider subscribe to the channel. My next Q&A will most probably be next Friday. So Friday Q&A and Saturday deadline stream ahead of game week 12. I will post another video. I will talk more about my chip strategy for the rest of the season. I will talk about those other chips as well. So if you have your free hit, if you have your wildcard, or if you have your bench boost, I will come with a couple of options for those chips ahead of game week 19. I will mention AFCON as well, which players will be involved and which dates should we get rid of the players leaving for AFCON. So if I want to bring in Mbumo, who could I sell? Enzo, Semenyo, or Saka, or just stay still? My advice, if you really want Mbumo, is to actually wait until game week 13, to be honest. Semenyo at home against West Ham, is this the game week to get rid of Semenyo? I'm not really sure. Saka, I think that he is a keep. And the same goes for Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez and Saka at the moment, they are the first choice penalty takers for their team. Semenyo, he is probably still for Bournemouth, even though he missed a penalty in game week 11. So I can see the temptation of getting Mbumo in, but we have to remember that Semenyo playing at home against West Ham. West Ham, they haven't really looked that great. They looked terrible in game week 1, game week 2, so they started to look a bit better, but kind of really, really disappointing performances from West Ham, like that game Monday night fixture against Brentford in game week 9. So Semenyo, I think that he is a keep at the moment, to be honest. So My advice would actually be to just save this transfer, potentially bring in Mbumo ahead of game week 13. So you will have him in game week 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's 4 game weeks with Mbumo in your team before you have to start considering selling Mbumo because of his participation in AFCON. So but thanks all for joining in. I'm actually going to record another video, but if you enjoyed this stream, please consider giving it a like and remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. It will be on Friday nights ahead of game week 12, so I will have a Q&A on Friday night and a deadline stream next Saturday as well. So thanks all for joining in and have a nice, lovely weekend. Hopefully I'll see you next time, and go check out my game week 12 wildcard and team selection video.